Good morning, gang. Happy Wednesday morning. Okay, fun stuff last night if we didn't notice. I make no secret whatsoever of my complete disdain for Sharia law and the Islamic takeover of parts of America, being it New York City, being it Texas, being it Dearborn, Michigan. All right. I'm sorry, there is one set of laws in this country, and that ain't changing. It's the Constitution. And people need to start realizing this. It's not selective. It's not, well, I don't believe in that part, so I'm not going to allow that. Or I disagree with that, so we're going to do it different. You don't have any flippin' say in the matter, okay? And anything that you do contrary to the U.S. Constitution is a violation of the law. Sorry, just the way it is. I don't want to hear a call to prayer 5 days in the morning, or 5 days a week, or 5 times a day, starting at 5 in the morning. There we go. We'll spit it out yet. No more than I want to hear church bells go off at 5 o'clock in the morning. Hell, for that matter, no more than I want to hear a dog barking at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay? I have no problem whatsoever with somebody worshiping whatever, however they want in the confines of their house, their religious facility, be it a church, a synagogue, a mosque, whatever it is. But when it gets out to the street or when it starts infiltrating our cities, our politics, our way of life, then I've got a problem. Call me Islamophobic all you want over this. I don't care, but you're completely mistaken, because to give you just an idea, a phobia is an irrational fear of something. I can promise you 100% I am not afraid of Muslims. Okay, not a problem. There's no fear whatsoever. Disdain is the term. Last night, late yesterday afternoon, up in Dearborn, Michigan, there was a small protest. It's funny because it's about the first time that any Americans actually raised their voice, exercised their right to protest against Sharia law. Okay, they're allowed to do it. No problem. They didn't have any big problems, if you will. They protested. A Republican gubernatorial candidate marched with the protesters up there in Michigan. There was a large police presence to make sure it didn't turn violent. Okay, great use of our tax dollars. There were about 50 protesters. There were about 100 counter-protesters. Okay, so just give you this. And things got a little heated. There was actually one arrest. There was a gentleman who attempted to burn a Koran. Okay? Got knocked out of his hand. You're not doing that. Okay? Then he managed later to slap a slab of bacon on a Koran. Okay, which I thought was kind of funny. But, okay. This was his right to protest. And the local community got a little pissed off about it. The Michigan Democrat Party got very pissed off about it, including Curtis Hertel, who is the chair of the Michigan Democratic Party. This is how out of touch these people are. Curtis Hertel's quote yesterday: attempting to burn a religious document is an unacceptable act of hate. Okay, but burning the American flag and screaming death to America should be protected under freedom of expression, right? Right? Saying we're not following the Constitution, we're going to make our own laws. That's acceptable. That's not hate. We love the United States so much, we're going to ignore its laws and create our own. Got it. Okay. Do I condemn the protesters? Absolutely not. They should be allowed to burn a Koran no less than all these other book burners are doing themselves. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression is allowed from both sides, guys. It's not just, oh, if the liberals hate something, they're allowed to go burn down buildings and put effigies of Donald Trump hanging from a noose in a guillotine, burning it, burning the American flag. That's all acceptable. Okay, let me see if I got this straight. 2 sets of laws again. One for the communist left, one for the religious fanatics on the left, and one for civilized society. And the one that's going to suffer is civilized society. No, sorry, it doesn't work that way. I'll give this group credit yesterday. Notwithstanding the burning the Koran, whatever, you can make your decisions on that by yourself. But they had the cojones to stand up and make their voices heard, using the same tactics that the radical left uses to make their voices heard. But all of a sudden, that's so bad, that needs to be condemned, etc., etc. No. We have to face it in this country. We are being taken over. The Great White Replacement Theory is not a theory. It's actively being done. Okay? And I hate to tell everybody else, but the Great White Replacement Theory also includes the Great Black Replacement Theory, also includes the Great Asian and the Great Hispanic Replacement Theory. They are trying to get rid of us. They will say, without a doubt, that their intention is not to assimilate, it is to take over. There are countless videos of imams saying, we're taking over. I've told you the story how Dearborn ran all the non-Muslim businesses out of town. They jacked up the property tax on Joe's barber shop to $100,000. He couldn't afford it. And then when he closed shop, they moved a guy with his falafel shop in and said, okay, now the property taxes are back to $1,000 a year, whatever. That was what they did. Okay. They forced everybody else off the city council. Minnesota, look what's going on there. For the life of me, I cannot figure out how Jacob Fry, even though he's a fruitcake in himself, how he won the mayoral election in Minneapolis. I'm absolutely dumbfounded about that. That means Minnesota hasn't completely fallen. Wait till the next election. New York, you've fallen. Dallas, you're about to. You start looking at this. This isn't taking over a small city like Dearborn. This is trying to take over major metropolitan areas in the country, and nobody does anything. And these roughly 50 people out yesterday said, we're going to stand up. Because eventually what's going to happen, because it's the pattern forever, okay, is flood an area, flood an area, flood an area, and then we're in power, you're doing it our way, and that's it. How long is it going to be until women in New York are required to wear burqas or hijabs or something like that? It's coming. Okay. The ones that are left, because the outflow of people from New York is crazy. The outflow from people from Seattle is starting. The outflow of people from Minnesota has been going on for 10 years. We have to take our country back. I have no problem if you want to go pray to Satan in your mosque. I have no problem if you want to worship or glorify a pedophile. Just, you better not act on his beliefs. You want to do that in the sanctity of your own home or in your place of worship? Go ahead. But as soon as you infringe on anybody else's rights to live in a civilized society, we have a problem. Kudos to these 50 people for maybe being the first ones to go, we're not going to take this anymore. And the rest of us need to start listening. Pinball out.